All right, it is Monday, February 24th. Welcome back to Damon Bruce Plus. Awesome to have you here. Please hit like and subscribe. All of those good things. We got some things to get into today, including a big announcement. I am going to Japan in April, and we'll have to talk about that, especially with Joji. Is Joji in here? I need a local. So we've got that to talk about, but we have to begin with what I thought was a very cool thing that happened at Chase Center just yesterday, and that was Andre Iguodala's number being retired by the Golden State Warriors. One All-Star game in 19 years. It is hard to look up in any gym's rafters and see a player with a less decorated career than Andre Iguodala had for a guy who got his jersey retired. But to look at all of Andre Iguodala's career, you'll never understand him. Looking at what he meant to the Golden State Warriors, you sort of start to get it. And it really was, Iguodala was a reality that became a little bit more of a myth and a legend at the end than he was really a helpful component of a winning operation. But it was deserved. And the thing that should make everyone agree that Andre Iguodala deserved to get his number retired by the Golden State Warriors is look at how much he meant to Steph, Clay, and Draymond. I mean, that to me, normally, when you retire a player's jersey, you're doing it because there's a huge demand in your fan base for that to happen. Your fan base wants to see this player separated from all the other players that they used to root for and be honored in a very, very special way. It felt like Andre Iguodala's number going into the rafters meant more to the franchise and the players than it did the fans. It really did feel that way. Very unique player. There's no doubt about it. You're not going to find a retired number, and there's been some really bad names and numbers retired throughout Michael Jordan's number 23 is retired by the Miami Heat, for goodness sakes. Why? Never played. There's some weird. Why is that guy there? Well, he must have meant something to this organization. Okay. If you watch Iguodala at the beginning there, especially, oh man, he meant a lot. I mean, who had faster hands than Andre Iguodala? He would fire those things like six shooters and come away with steals, and he would just gaffle guys up. Iguodala, at his peak with the Warriors right at the beginning, was really a changer. I mean, he did. He instantly added credibility to the franchise. He instantly added credibility and I think confidence to the franchise because Steph, Clay, and Draymond were like, man, this guy could have gone a lot of places. He chose to come here. He must really think we're on to something. And that first season, he was on that Warriors 13-14 team that lost in the second round to the Clippers. That was a Clippers team that was supposed to redefine what the West Coast dynasty was going to be. That Clippers team was supposed to be incredible. And then they ran into the Golden State Warriors. They got past them one year, but after that, it was all over for the LA Clippers, and it would become the Warriors' dynastic run. He was with the Warriors for 8 seasons. Remember, they let him go. They couldn't afford to keep him around, cap casualty. And he was with Miami for 2 years. But with the Warriors, over his 8 seasons, they won 4 titles, and he was really involved in 2 of them, kind of involved in 1 more of them, and then hardly involved at all at the end. As a matter of fact, you could say that, he played 8 seasons with the Warriors. It was really more like 6 seasons with the Warriors because he only played in 39 games over his final 2 seasons, and he was never around. I mean, he was, you'd constantly hear about, Steve Kerr saying, well, Andre, he's such a sounding board in the locker room. Well, yeah, you also need a player. You also need somebody who's going to out there and give you minutes for taking up this roster spot. Andre Iguodala, I think, bordered on myth more than a reality at the end, but it was a myth that the players liked. Again, Andre Iguodala meant more to the guys in the locker room than the fans who were in the stands. It's the honest to God's truth. One of the weaker NBA Finals MVPs you'll ever see Did he deserve it? I guess. Did he really lock down LeBron? Not really. I mean, LeBron still had nice numbers, and there were, okay. It should have been Steph Curry's MVP. And unfortunately, the fact that it wasn't Steph Curry's MVP, it then continued to haunt Steph, or at least the media tried to pretend it haunted Steph, that he had never had this finals MVP and he was never the man on his own team and it was Durant, blah, blah, blah. So, it just sucked that Iguodala getting that finals MVP didn't do more good for Iguodala than it damaged Steph Curry's reputation. I mean, we all wish to have our reputations damaged by the NBA Finals MVP that we didn't get as we became champions. I mean, this is a sliding scale of damage. But you remember the debate. Nick Wright would be like, well, Curry's never won a Finals MVP. And then I'd be like, well, I really didn't know that was a prerequisite for the conversation of greatness. It feels like we're just making that up now. I thought it should have been Steph's. And again, it haunted Steph until he won it against Boston. His fourth title with the Warriors, again, he was a ceremonial head of state more than he was a player who gave the Warriors minutes that mattered. But he mattered to the team. He mattered to Kerr. He mattered to Bob Myers. He mattered to Joe Lacob. He mattered to the team's credibility. And, in a world of you can let things upset you, or you can just say, okay, I get it. Andre Iguodala getting his number retired. I mean, to me, number retirement should only be for first ballot Hall of Famers. Andre Iguodala will, I guess, be a Hall of Famer. But, the guy's 19-year career's averages are 11-5-4. Now, I know that doesn't give you the full picture because he was a hell of a defender. But 11-5-4, it normally doesn't get a Hall of Fame consideration or jersey retired. But, when you play at your best, when all eyes are on you, obviously it matters an awful lot. We'll talk about whether or not Iguodala is Jimmy Butler 2.0 and all that and all the things that are being attached to it. And we'll hop into some comments here in just a second because I'm interested in what you guys have to say about that as well. But let me tell you that my man Ike, who's standing there in a cardboard cutout behind me, who has just become a graphic in the top corner of your screen, has an unbelievable sandwich waiting for you at your restaurant, at his restaurant, no matter what your tastes are. You want to go big fat boy meat sandwich? Oh, he's got that for you. You want something that is actually good for you, that is vegan for you, that isn't a big caloric, you have fried onion rings on that, like a healthy sandwich. You can go in that direction too at Ike's. Anything you need that sandwich to be, it can be. I hope you need it to be a Damon Bruce because I am absolutely freaking delicious. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Look at that. Come on, look at me. Look at how delicious I am. You want that sandwich in your life. Go get yourself a Damon Bruce at Ike's and do it today. Thanks to our friends at the Dubliner. Love the Dubliner West Portal. Those are my guys. I don't know where you're going to go and watch some of your Warriors games that they got coming up. Make it over to the Dubliner. My God, the Dubliner West Portal got to be bracing for a St. Patty's Day that's going to be coming up soon. It's got to be a big day for any bar that's got an Irish connotation to it. Best Guinness pour in all of San Francisco. Dubliner West Portal. It's not just an Irish bar. It's not just a neighborhood bar. It's not just a sports bar. It's just an awesome bar. That's all it is. Get yourself to the Dubliner. And look, if you're thinking about making a better too, on the NBA draft, the NBA playoffs, the coming NFL draft, futures, props, it is all waiting for you over on BetUS. Use promo code YouTube150 when you sign up for 150% sign up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. And that's how you get down over on BetUS. And thanks to them, as always, for sponsoring the show. Thank you to you for watching the show. Thank you to you for liking the show. Like and subscribe, all those good things. Always appreciate memberships, super chats, all that stuff. Really do appreciate it. So, look, I want to get in here. First of all, Danny Golding TV says, Damon, you and Tom should do a show together sometime. Yeah, Tolbert is officially launching on YouTube today. We will. I certainly hope we will. I reached out to Tom. We've been texting back and forth a little bit, like anyone starting their own thing. They just want to get their own legs underneath them. But yeah, we'll hopefully do something with Tom in the near future for sure. This is JP from the 510. He says, Damon, what dates are you going to be in Tokyo? I'm going to be in Tokyo mid-April. Would love to buy you a sake. Well, let me tell you. We're going to be in Tokyo, I think, at the same time. I'm there the 19th through the 26th, I believe. Yeah, that's the 19th through the 26th is the week that I'm going to be in Tokyo. Now, we are going to be bopping around, not just staying in Tokyo. We're going to go to Kyoto. I think we're going to go to Okinawa. But we will be in Tokyo, and there will be a portion of this trip where Jillian is busy at work. Again, it's lost in translation. I'm Scarlett Johansson. I need to find my Bill Murray. JP from the 510, maybe you're my Bill Murray. Maybe we will get together and fall deeply in love and hold hands together in a bed. And everyone will be like, that's the hottest sex scene ever. Relax. The movie's a little overrated, if we're being completely honest. But JP from the 510, shoot me your email address, and who knows what sort of adventures we can have in Tokyo together. By the way, I am looking here. Is Joji in the room? That's what I want to know. Is Joji in the room? By the way, Steve Supremo says Iguodala in the rafters like putting Ori in the rafters. What is this guy? D Low 82. Shut up, Damon, you stupid ass. What are you talking about? What was it? You think Iguodala is one of the greatest basketball players of all time? Stop it. Stop it. Andre Iguodala, had he not joined the Warriors at the perfect time to join the Warriors, is not remembered as a great player at all. He was a right place, right time guy. And he helped create the right place that turned into the right time. But Iguodala was okay. You know, he was a good player. He was a good player. Oh, now I know you're just a lying douchebag. Your sandwich sucks. You are nasty. Well, here's what I'm going to do for you, D-Lo. I'm going to take care of you in a way that's going to make you realize that you don't need to be here if you think it all sucks so much. That's called ban assholes for life. It's a little button that I'm going to hit more liberally when someone who's just in here to be a dickhead. So suck it. Let's see. I just had the Gulliver at Ike's. A little too sweet for me. I don't even, what's the Gulliver? I don't even know what the Gulliver is. You guys are eating sandwiches I've never even had. International Plus. Oh, dude, we're going Plus Mania. Plus Mania Tokyo. Any Tokyo shows? Hi. Yes. I will absolutely be putting up videos and showing you the things I'm looking at in Tokyo too. Yes. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be in Tokyo during the NFL draft. So I'm going to be covering the NFL draft live from Tokyo. Can anyone in the NFL say that? I don't know. Work, and vacation. Damon, try the konbini egg sandwiches. There are some egg things in Japan I'm very interested in trying. Let me tell you what I'm not interested in. It feels like the internet is obsessed with the meat patty that then has an omelet that is medium rare cooked at best, and then they cut the omelet and then the runny egg thing happens out. To me, that looks like that omelet needed 2 more minutes on the stove. Like, I do not want that. I am not interested in your runny egg omelet, Japan. Just not, I ain't in it. Egg sandos and 7-Eleven. Okay. No, I heard that there's a very famous like egg salad sandwich. Oh, Joji's in Hawaii? Oh, I always thought Joji was in Japan, so you never really know. We'll find out together, I guess. But Joji, next time you're in here, we need to talk. We need to talk. Again, Steve, I know I'm kind of on my own. I don't like a wet burger. I don't like what a yolk does to a burger. I don't like my burgers wet. It's why I don't like tomatoes on my burger. I don't like really lettuce on my burger. To me, a burger is simply meat, cheese, onion, mayo, mustard, ketchup. That to me is peak burger. I know it's a very controversial thing to be. Love me some Andre Iguodala. He was my favorite player for the while. My screensaver. I named my kitty after him. Number in the rafters. Not so sure about that. See, thank you. That's, again, Andre Iguodala checked off boxes of Warriors greatness. But to the point where his number goes into the rafters, like, to me, like, okay. I mean, he clearly meant so much to the franchise in ways that we as fans could not understand. So, they know more about them than we do. So, okay. To me, Durant is a guy who should absolutely be part of the statute. Durant should not have his number retired by the Golden State Warriors. Not only was he not here long enough, I know you did incredible things while he was here, but not only was he not here long enough, he told you, I am going to leave an outstanding situation for a bad one. And then when you ask, does he want to come back? He's still like, nope, don't want to come back. Like, to me, that should cancel any and all number retirement ceremonies for Kevin Durant in the future, but it won't, because Joe Lacob is kind of a jock sniffer, and he'll eventually retire Durant's number. What does Rick Barry think about all this? He hates it. He hates it. I'm sure he hates it. Rick Barry hates almost anything. That's our guy. Damon, the Burger Project on Divisadero just was named best burger in San Francisco. So I haven't had it yet, and I'm going to tell you that there is no burger in San Francisco better than Beeps. But Beeps has officially reached a price point where, so just when I moved in the neighborhood, Beeps was like $16. Beeps is now, and this is a take it and go only thing. There's no place for me to even sit down. If you're charging me $20-something for a burger, you better be bringing it to me on a plate and doing my dishes for me. Like $23 for a burger and onion rings to go, no drink. Like, since when did burgers become $20? Like, fuck off, y'all. It ain't easy being a fat boy. It ain't easy. I still like Beeps. But man, it's officially expensive now. For a burger that's built to go, a little expensive. Okay, so I understand that not everyone here is watching in San Francisco. You can't all go to Beeps, and you're not all in Tokyo. So let's get back to today's show, which, the thumbnail says it's about Andre Iguodala. That's where we're starting, and that's where we're sticking here for a little while, because there's a little, is Jimmy Butler the new Andre Iguodala? Is he Iggy 2.0? I don't know about that, but 5-1 since the trade is really nice. They still haven't played anybody. I mean, really, they haven't. They beat a depleted Dallas team. They beat a depleted Milwaukee team. They beat a depleted Bucks or a depleted Bulls team. They're not taking on the best of the best. They win in Sacramento. The Kings suck. So like they still haven't beaten anybody that matters. But there is no doubt that the vibes are right and confidence is high. And there's no other sport where the vibes and the confidence probably matter as much as they do in basketball. This team is bouncy. For the first time since they walked off the court in Boston champions, this team is bouncy. This team's got a good vibe about it. They're happy, it seems, for the first time since Jordan Poole got punched. Kinda. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But this is a team. It's got 25 games left on the year. They're now 3 games over 500 at 30-27 on the season. They've got Charlotte at home tomorrow on Tuesday. And then they go out for a 5-game road trip. Orlando, Philadelphia, Charlotte, New York, Brooklyn. Orlando, not good. Philadelphia, awful. Charlotte, you're going to get 2 bites at that apple in the next 2 weeks. You can get fat on that. The Knicks, Depends on which Jalen Brunson shows up. If bad boy Jalen Brunson shows up, buckle in. You're in for a game. If anything less than that shows up, the Knicks are beatable. Brooklyn, stink. I mean, 5-1 over their next 6 games is not unthinkable. It's a lot of success on the road. But it's not unthinkable. And, since they're 5-1 right now, that would give them a 10-2 record over their last 12 games if they were able to do that. And that is the direction any team that's about to fancy itself a contender needs to be traveling in. Again, the vibes are good. And it's not just me gleaning from this. It's not just me, hoping to see it. Like, Tim Kawakami will tell you when things are good and when things aren't good. And right now, Tim, I think what he wrote here is totally spot on, about the good vibes around this team right now. He said both things, the immortalizing of Iguodala and the celebration of Jimmy Butler, were in the air at Chase Center, and both things brought out the kind of roars that have been mostly absent from Chase Center this season. Both of these things are very important. They're 5-1 with Butler after Sunday's blowout victory over an injury-riddled Mavericks team. See, even Kawakami's telling you, slow your roll down there a little bit. And there's a bad Mavs team right now. But they have officially now done what they needed to do on this little stretch. They've nudged up within a half a game of 8-seed Dallas, and they're just 1.5 games behind the 6th-seeded Clippers. So it's good. And beyond it being good, let me tell you, it's entertaining. The Warriors are playing some good and good-looking basketball. I'm really liking Moses Moody getting a shot to start. I am really liking Brandon Pajemski after spending most of this year not being really impressed by him at all. It seems like Butler has allowed everybody on this team to sort of find its own level. And it's been good. You look at the way that Guy Santos now fits in. You look at the way that Quentin Post is fitting in. All of this good vibes and better basketball is happening without even Jonathan Kuminga being back in the room. And that might be the cherry on top of really changing the temperature of this year. All of this, as we're looking at it right now, looks like, I don't know if you're ready to go win an NBA title, but you're ready to go into the playoffs and maybe throw a few punches, see what happens, see if you connect on anybody's chin. You kiss the button, you win. Who knows? Like, they look like they're that team now. What if Kuminga comes back and he's just high-flying and soaring and taking his cues for Jimmy Butler, and he's trying to get to the free throw line, and the free throw line is finally working for, not against the Golden State Warriors? Things could happen. Things could happen. How about this? JK dropping this. Warriors are now 9-0 when Moody starts and he shoots 40%. See, if you could have just told me they're 9-0 when they start, then I'd say start him all the time. But yeah, he's also got to shoot 40%. All Dub Nation or Pistons fans tonight. Indeed, Mohammed. Let me tell you, the Pistons aren't bad. When Cade Cunningham's out there playing well, they're good. Now, Michelle Haberman, the queen of good vibes. I think good vibes are a thing for sure. They absolutely are. Absolutely they are. Warriors' key stats to pay attention to: turnovers and free throws. You are right, Erwin. You are right. Getting to shoot more free throws than your opponent makes is one of the winning formulas that Bob Knight would always insist on. By the way, Indiana beat Purdue over the weekend too, so that felt nice. We're not going to the NCAA tournament. Mike Woodson needs to be fired today, but it's good to beat Purdue. Again, it just helps the vibes. So, vibing in the right direction. Jimmy Butler has changed the makeup of this team across the entire roster. Kerr's feeling good. Curry's feeling good. Draymond's feeling confident. They're getting Jonathan Kuminga back. And there's a new name to even talk about. Shams over the weekend tells us that the Warriors are signing Australia's Taran Armstrong to a 2-way contract. His agent, Daniel Moldovan, tells ESPN Armstrong is a 6'6" point guard who's been a standout in the Australian National Basketball League and now comes to the NBA. And all I can tell you is that there is good basketball being played in Australia, and a guy showing up who is 6'6" and is really sees the floor well, adds a little size for a backcourt that could certainly use some with Curry, Moody, and Podziemski, none of them being skyscrapers. Again, you should bank nothing on a two-way player from Australia who's never played an NBA game, but it's a piece. Interesting. Okay, we'll see what he looks like, hopefully sooner than later. By the way, Joji, konnichiwa. He's given the konnichiwas. Joji, I'm coming to Tokyo. If you're in Tokyo, here's what I want. Now, was it JP from the 510 also said, Damon, I'm going to be there at the same time. That's great. I want to hang out. I really do. I want a local. I want someone who is Japanese showing me Japanese stuff. That's what I need. That's what I want. That's what I'm hoping for. JK, my guy Pat Spencer's in trouble. Yeah, minutes are going to be harder for Pat Spencer coming through. Joji, Chef A says you're in Hawaii. If you're in Hawaii, it's going to be hard to meet you in Tokyo. I'll give you that much. Look at this. We just got a lot of rising sun right there. Yo, nostrole ole oles. Thank you very, very much. I'm so excited. I've never been anywhere even remotely like Japan. I've been to Europe. I've been to white person Europe. And as fascinating and as culturally satisfying as that is, it's just white people, but older. Like, I'm really looking forward to going to see a monochromatic culture that is, very much itself, and just seeing the difference in the world between us and someone else for the very first time. I'm so excited about it. So excited about it. Damon, maybe you can pit stop in Honolulu along the way. It is a long flight, I hear. Bring good walking shoes. I hear that as well. Yeah, I heard that. Look at it this way. We're going to have plenty of time to talk about all the things I need to do in Tokyo. But I'll take all the good advice you can offer up. So thank you very much. Keep it coming in the comments. Let's see. If you're going anywhere, you want the advice of a local to help you navigate these streets. Like if you were heading to Indianapolis for the combine or anything else, the very first thing I would tell you is that Indianapolis is basically a mall. There's a mall in downtown Indianapolis and some tunnels that connect a few hotels to that mall, and that's what it is. But it is set up well for conventions. It's the kind of town where if the weather's terrible outside, you don't really have to go outside to get around a lot of the places you're going to be. And then everybody and their brother is going to tell you to go to St. Elmo's. And I will too. Like, sometimes local legends are overblown and sometimes they deliver. St. Elmo's delivers. It's an awesome steak. It's a great steakhouse. It's a handsome room. And the shrimp cocktail that you hear about really is nuclear level hot. Again, when you're a landlocked state like Indiana, you can't really lean into how great your shrimp is every day. I mean, I'm sure some days they get it delivered and it's fresh and it's outstanding. But, other days, maybe it would be a little less milly if you have a bucket of horseradish on top of it. So they do. Now, I also like the... Tiger Tank. Hold on. Visit Tokyo Disney, Damon. No, we're not going to Disneyland in Tokyo. No. Oh, Japan travel tips coming in. Wear compression socks during the long flight. Yeah, I know about that. I know about that. I just don't think a blood clot's taking me out. Subways everywhere. Know your stops. There's an app to help foreigners like us. I'd tell you the name, but my wife and her sisters navigated Kikyo. Thank you very much. Yeah, here's the thing. I think I'm going to be able to do it. I think I'm going to be able to get around. There's an app for that. There's definitely an app for everything. And look, Google Translate is like the ultimate freaking cheat code, right? Like you can just hold your, like I can't read that sign. Put up Google Translate. Now you can. That's a game changer. So, and we will know at least one local. We will have one loco whose name is Pablo, believe it or not. He moved to Japan, obviously, years ago, but he works alongside my wife and is going to be part of the reason why we're going out there. So Pablo-san will be my point person in Japan, and I'm looking forward to meeting him. I'm looking forward to getting hammered in Japan. I'm looking forward to, I heard it's like the best food city in the world right now, so I'm really looking forward to it. They're probably not hiding the quality of their shrimp with the spiciness of the shrimp cocktail, but you're going to read about the spiciness of that shrimp cocktail by every single writer who is in Indianapolis to cover the NFL Combine, which, my friends, begins this week. It is meetings. It is medicals. It is a lot of fill out this application, please. The first few days, we actually get large men in underpants starting on Thursday. D-line and linebackers go on Thursday with their combine drills. We got defensive backs and tight ends going on Friday. All the big ticket items, quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, go on Saturday. Offensive linemen, they save the beef to the end. Offensive linemen go on Sunday with all their measurables and all that stuff. Damon, is it Pablo Sandoval? No, it's not Pablo Sandoval. Thank you. What is this? Klook for traveling around? Okay. All right. I will check that out. I'm allergic to shellfish. Muhammad, that's tough, man. Because I got to be honest with you. I'm not a big fish guy unless it's shellfish. I'm a shellfish guy. Download a Suisy card. It automatically changes dollars to yen. Yeah, this is one of those. I'm going to have to figure out the cash and the conversion rate. And I don't know much. It's going to be quite an education. Hit up Shinjuku, Damon. We know you're a karaoke champ. Yeah, I know that they got all of these like neighborhoods that are. I want to go to the electronics neighborhood. Here's the one thing. Unlike most, by the way, by the time I make this trip, I'm going to be 50. I turn 50 next month. I'm guessing most 50-year-old white men in Japan are like really into like anime and all that shit. I don't give a rat's ass about anime, Pokemon, none of that stuff. I don't care. I want to go to their video game city. It's like everything's a city within a city. I want to go to the video game stuff. I want to go to the electronics town. I am definitely going to go to a Yomiuri Giants game at the Tokyo Dome. And we're going to be taking some bullet trains around the place. Great meals going to be planned. I also want very much to leave room for spontaneity. I don't like overbooking a vacation. I want to see where the day takes me. Maybe I will be in Geishaville with Hello Kitty all around me going, oi, oi, oi. I don't know. I have no idea what it's going to be. I have no idea what my Japanese experience is going to be. I've been told, whatever you think it is, buckle up. You have no idea what you're walking into. I'm so thrilled. I'm very excited. By the way, Erwin is writing I'm going to write this down, actually. Hold on. I write some of this stuff down. Look at me when I say write it down, like I literally mean write it down. This is great content, watching me take notes, right? SUCIA card. Thank you. Thank you for the recommendation. Because the only thing that I'm like a little bit worried about is how the money works. Like, how am I supposed to pay for it? Do I have to carry a lot of yen in cash with me? Do I put it on a card, plastic? How much of Japan is so in the future that they're not even dealing with like cash yen anymore? They want it on a card. Do I need a card? But so there you go. You're solving problems for me. Thank you. Oh, by the way, it's called Suica. Suica. All right. And thank you. I'm going to need a lot, an awful lot of pronunciation corrections. Yeah, video game district. That's what I'm talking about. Which is Akirahaba is your jam, Damon? I don't even know. Okay. I don't know. Now you could be sending me to like some ladyboy part of Japan that I don't know anything about. So I'm going to have to look that up. But thank you very much. I hope all of your recommendations are in, in good faith. Those last 3 days in Japan, my wife and I are going to be vagabonds. So that's the thing. Those last 3 days in Japan are, Jillian's actually working. So that's when I'm going to be in Tokyo. There's a very good chance that we could do this, JP, from the 510. It's amazing. You're from the 510 and we're going to maybe meet in Tokyo. Wouldn't that be something else? Yeah. Whole video game central, the whole thing, like the entire town. Like I've been told like the entire country is Times Square. Oh, cash is king in Japan? Get it at the airport? Oh, well, then we're golden because I'm Johnny Cash. I'm the man in black. I prefer cash. I hate when I'm forced. I went to a buddy his band was playing last night at the local exchange. Good bar, like that place, but they're raising money for LA fire relief. And so, I wanted to go and see my buddy. And to get in the door, he's like, yeah, you need to Venmo us to get in the door. I'm like, well, here's cash. He's like, no, we're not accepting cash. I'm like, well, I don't even have Venmo. I'm not going to download it. I don't want Venmo. And then luckily, a buddy of mine walks in and I'm like, here's the money. You Venmo them when I'm supposed to Venmo them. Anyway, so cash is king, baby. Cash is king. We got a Star Wars celebration in Tokyo, the 19th through the 21st. It's just when we're getting there. I think we're going to be in Okinawa. Again, the last thing I need in Tokyo is to be distracted by Disney or Star Wars shit. Like, I want culture. I don't want my culture, how they interpret my culture. I want their culture. Let's see. So again, we got shrimp cocktail season, which rolls right into combine season, which rolls into NFL free agency, which starts March 14th. About a month after that, I'll be taking off for Tokyo. We're going to do a week of shows. We're going to be doing shows from Tokyo, I promise you. And we are going to be covering the NFL draft from Tokyo. How nuts is that? It's going to be a really, really good time. So anyways, the only other thing I have for you today before we get into our history lesson is a story that I still don't know an awful lot about. It is developing. By the way, 82 Atlantic, thank you. Congrats to your Hoosiers for beating Purdue. Had to happen. Needed to happen. Made me happy. Fresno State has got a couple players that are in trouble for sure. One definitely, more to come maybe. It looks like we got ourselves a little bit of a gambling issue happening with Fresno State's basketball team. A Fresno State player, pardon me. Hold on. Fresno State is under investigation after two men's basketball players reportedly placed bets on their own games. Players were allegedly betting on prop bets involving the Bulldogs, including the under on points, totals, and rebounds. If you're asking me, like, where does this gambling thing go now that it is omnipresent? As excited as everyone was to get gambling into sports, the bottom is going to fall out of it. It's gonna. it's gonna a decade from now, gambling in sports is going to be looked at, I think, as one of the bigger mistakes ever made. And it's not just going to be because of stories like this and maybe some game manipulation, but it's going to be because people are losing their shirts. I think it's going to create a lot of problems for people. I do. Gambling was great when it was something that you could only do in little pockets. It's not supposed to be ubiquitous or easy or at your disposal 24/7. It was never really intended to be that. So I don't know. Look at it this way. Everywhere I look around this world, all I see are people who ain't cut out for that. You ain't cut out for that. You ain't cut out for that life. You ain't cut out for that job. You ain't cut out for that work ethic. You ain't cut out to be that hardcore about anything. You're soft in the middle. I know it about you. I see it. You see it. You're lying to yourself, but I know it. There's going to be a lot of people who get crushed by gambling, I think, in the next few years. It'll be a big story. Players, again, allegedly betting on prop bets involving the Bulldogs, including their own over-unders on point totals and rebounds. The Bulldogs initially suspended two men's basketball players, Jalen Weaver and Zayon Collins, ahead of their game Saturday against Air Force. A third player, Mikel Robinson, also being investigated. And Robinson, who's not played since January 11th, has already been removed from the team's roster. So this is a little bit of a story to keep an eye on. Remember, we had a similar story hit the NBA where a player was banging his own unders and checking out saying, "Coach, my ankle." I guess it's a good way to make sure that under hits. You only played 2 minutes tonight. So this is an interesting story to keep an eye on. SG Sports Talk says, "I love to gamble." You should say, "I enjoy gambling." You shouldn't be in love with something that could do that much damage to you. Unless you are very, very careful and very responsible, but even then, things can get away from you. People got to be responsible for their own actions. Kenny Powers, have you seen the people in the world? I wouldn't say taking responsibility for their own actions is a huge, decided attribute that people have these days. 82 Atlantic, against 99% of people couldn't name a Fresno State player, yet Vegas has individual prop bets. Yeah. And look, the gambling story that will shake the gambling world to its core, it's not going to come from Michigan or Ohio State. It's not going to come from, an NFL or NBA team. I really don't believe that. It is going to be some small last game on the board. I mean, again, I don't want to include any school here to make it sound like you're a small time school. But I bet you, okay, so a few years ago, the biggest money that was getting thrown around on what looked like to be rigged gaming was in some European tennis circuit. It's a lot easier to rig some European tennis circuit than it is a major sport that everybody's paying close attention to. It's a lot easier to rig things on the side stage than it is the main stage. So it'll probably come from somewhere small. The attempt to dismiss it as, well, who cares because it's such small potatoes, I think it's just masking up for the fact that, what's the famous Jerry Tarkanian, the famous Jerry Tarkanian line? And by the way, Jerry Tarkanian, Fresno State, gambling, it all goes home, doesn't it? Jerry Tarkanian's favorite line was what? Every single time Kentucky gets investigated, Cleveland State gets suspended. Or whatever his line was. But it was, every single time Kentucky's breaking NCAA rules, it's Cleveland State that gets suspended. In other words, people don't want to, sort of kill their own moneymaker. So Just something to keep an eye on for those of you who like to keep an eye on things. And you are right, Joseph. Everyone has their price. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't sound good, but it also doesn't sound wrong either. Let me tell you, the price that you pay when you sit down and you order your Ike sandwich, you're not going to ever miss that cash. You're going to be happy that you did that. Get yourself to Ike's. Get yourself a sandwich from Ike's today. If you are in charge of making lunch happen for your office, check out Ike's Catering. They'll deliver a box of sandwiches, chips, drinks, and it is so set up, and it is such a crowd pleaser. Check out Ike's Catering. It's not just sandwiches for you, sandwiches for everybody. Check out the Guinness. They're pouring it not just for you, they're pouring it for everybody at the Dubliner West Portal. Love my guys, Kenny and John. We'll be there to watch a Warriors game real soon. And again, I just kind of crapped on gambling while this whole live stream is being powered by BetUS. But again, use YouTube 150, promo code YouTube 150 when you sign up. And please be responsible, because that gambling, when it's all said and done, I think is going to do more bad than it is good. Anyway. Are you ready for a little history lesson? We ready for some history today? Let me quickly check here in the chats. Yeah, gambling. Oh, it's wrong, Damon. It's wrong. Outright wrong. Again, it's just tough to, it's tough to regulate it. Yeah, I'm a big believer in this. I like gambling. I like gambling in Las Vegas or when I'm in Reno, and when I'm not in those places, I usually don't gamble. Every now and then, I'll put a little something on something because of something. But yeah. And look, Zelfmus, I get it. BetUS on the top of the screen. The ancient Greeks said life was irony. I hear you, man. The reason why gambling has been embraced by everybody is because there's money in it. And I'm trying to make money over here, and they pay me to put that logo up there. So, again, we all have our price. Are you ready for today in history? It is February 24th, and the amount of, I always start with birthdays. There was no real, it's more impressive whose birthday it isn't than anyone's who is. Today would have been Steve Jobs' birthday. You want to talk about how many people can literally say, yeah, they changed the entire planet. Not just their own industry, not just their own region or country or field, but you literally changed the planet. Steve Jobs changed the way humans communicate. I don't know if it's for the good or bad, but he changed it. The iPhone changed everything. Everything. You know, when we're talking about the most important inventions in the history of mankind, I mean, we are up there with fire, the wheel, the iPhone. That might be it. I'm sure there's a few other things in there, but you know what I'm saying. SG Sports Talk coming in a little late. Damon, what are your thoughts on Iguodala's jersey being lifted to the rafters at Chase Center? Go back and watch the first 30 minutes of the show. We talk about it thoroughly. I'm for it. I support it. I got no problem with Andre Iguodala's number being retired. He meant more to the locker room than he did the fans. Like, you got to sell Warriors fans, I think, on this jersey retirement a little bit. But again, I also thought that Andre Iguodala was like a litmus test to what do you think is important about a basketball player? His hand speed, his defensive prowess, it mattered. It really, really mattered. Had he not gotten, I mean, to me, what's also working against Iguodala is the signature moment of Andre Iguodala's career is being pin blocked by LeBron in the NBA Finals. So the signature moment of the guy's career isn't exactly a good moment for him or the Warriors. But he helped deliver 4 championships. He played really in 2 of them, sort of dabbled in another, and was hardly a part of the final one. But, I think Andre at the very end meant more to Steph on the golf course than he did on the basketball court. But go back and check it all out, my friend. And happy birthday would have been to Steve Jobs. Speaking of, I guess that was important. Today in 1582. Hold on. Today in 1582, the Gregorian calendar came out, which most of the world still uses today. So the calendar as you know it, happy birthday, 1582. Today in 1970, NPR was founded, National Public Radio. Now, whether you are Republican, Democrat, somewhere in between, NPR is important. Radio is still important. Well, probably not. Never mind. Just subscribe to me on YouTube. Fuck radio. I can't even pretend anymore. I can't. I used to be the biggest radio guy in the world. I'll tell you, I know how radio could be important again in the Bay Area is if they hired Damon Bruce, but I think that ship has sailed. 1980. Today in 1980, the U.S. men's hockey team actually completed the Miracle on Ice. Beating the Russians is what they made the movie about, but then they still had to go and beat Finland, and they beat Finland 4-2, and that's what gave them the gold. Can you imagine if they had lost to Finland? Oh, my God. That would have been like setting the NBA's all-time regular season wins record and then losing in the NBA final. Oh, never mind. Today in 1982, the U.S. Supreme Court voted 8-0 to overturn the $200,000 settlement awarded to Reverend Jerry Falwell for his emotional distress being parodied in Hustler, which was a pornographic magazine. The People versus Larry Flint happened today. That's that court case where famous people can't turn around and easily sue for defamation if it's clearly parody, is a very important thing in how this country is able to talk and mock positions of power. By the way, you can expect the guy who we don't talk about anymore, but you can expect him to try to undo this because, again, he just wants to punish those who aren't good to dear leader. Anyone who criticizes must be the enemy. Anyway, speaking of must be the enemy, today in 2020, Harvey Weinstein's career ended when it all came down. Today in 2020 is when Me Too came out with the knives and the fangs for Harvey Weinstein. And what a gross, disgusting human he is. I will also say, I know it's tough being an actress. It's tough trying to get famous. There's no amount of fame that you could have ever promised me that would have gotten me to fuck Harvey Weinstein. I promise you that. I know enough about me to know that. So Harvey Weinstein did an awful lot of damage, was a horrifically awful person who hopefully burns in hell for eternity. A lot of those women took the deal. Okay? You didn't have to take the deal. You took it. Finally, I told you to go to the Dubliner. Go to the Dubliner today. It is National Bartender Day. Remember? National Bartender. Oh, by the way, right here, Joseph. Remember, Damon, everyone has their price. Yeah. Yeah. It is National Bartender Day, February 24th. Celebration of bartenders. It's one of the world's oldest professions. The profession has a long history dating back to the 1400s. What I do know is in the 1400s is they weren't called mixologists. The only time I ever have a problem with a bartender is not if they are slammed and can't get me a drink fast. I know what being busy behind a bar is. I lived that life. It's tough. That I have sympathy for that man or woman who's in that situation every single time. I will never be like don't ever snap at a bartender. If anything, just wave $1, just like this. That's wave the $20 bill. But that's even a little obnoxious, to be honest with you. Just don't do anything. They'll get to you. I don't like it. Do not like it when a bartender refuses to make eye contact with anyone unless he's waiting. Like, make eye contact. Acknowledge, just let me know that you know that I'm here and you're eventually going to get to me. But it's a tough job. And a great bartender is worth his own or her weight in gold. They really are. I love a good bartender. What I don't like is when you go to a bar and it's not very busy and you order a drink, a cocktail from a bartender who then proceeds to take 15 minutes to make this, where milliliters of tinctures are being like, dude, I don't want a poem. I want a drink. Come on. It's got to go a little faster. But that's it. Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Never snap. Never snap at anybody. Never snap at a waitress. Never snap at a bartender. Don't even snap at the douchebag at worst. That's how I get my 3-year-old's attention sometimes. Everyone falls in love with bartenders. Sometimes that actually evolves into a relationship. But yes, I've fallen in love with good bartenders. I've fallen in love with bad bartenders. I've fallen in love with a couple of pretty bartenders throughout my day. So good times. Good bartenders. Love you, bartenders. Keep it up. Thank you so much for watching today's show. Like and subscribe on your way out the door, if you would, please. If you haven't, we're about 100 subscribers away. About 100 subscribers away from 28,000. We're exactly 110 subscribers away from 28,000. And all I can tell you is that, I remember when we were at 5,000. I remember when we were at 8,000, how excited we were to cross 10. We finally got to 20. We're starting to approach 30. Thank you so much for your likes, for your subscribing, for your support, for watching. Always appreciate you guys very, very much. We will have much more throughout the week, so stay tuned. And please, my friends, do remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's